welcome back to our listeners. We are ATLiens United PC. My name is Blake Marshman. I'm joined by my co-host ATL Joe, also known as Joe Maskery. Joe, what's going on, man?
Blake, I'm in Houston right now. I got lost. I got on an airplane and somehow landed here. What's going on?
All right. Well, are you doing okay down there, down in Houston?
I think I'm doing okay. I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to make up some stuff to do while I'm here because I really would rather be in Atlanta. Honestly, I need an Atlanta beer.
Beer of the week!
Every week. That's right, guys. We're going to jump right back into it. But Joe, I don't have the right equipment to do Beer of the Week.
Like my handy dandy golden spike that I bring everywhere.
Yeah. Can I borrow that spike?
Yeah. Here, let me pass it to you.
Oh, wow. It's awesome.
Yeah,
but I still need the hammer. Do you have the hammer too?
Hold on. Yeah. Here. You need this? Here.
Oh man, through the portal. Wow, thanks.
No problem.
Awesome. This is awesome. I got a hammer in my hand. How did that happen? That's crazy. Anyways, Beer of the Week. What do we got today? We got the second self. It's going to be the Triforce IPA. And Joe, I know you wish that you could be here to enjoy this beer with me. This is a fantastic IPA, coming in at about 6.1%. Not super hoppy. It has more fruit taste to it. Second self kind of over near Howell Mill, west side of Atlanta. Great little brewery. Great spot to hang out on the weekend. I'm gonna just go ahead and give a shot at this ATL Chan. This is my first one, guys. So bear with me. Joe, do you mind joining me? Even though you don't, I need some assistance here. So we're just gonna give it a A T L. That was awesome echo. And what do you know? The Chan opened it again. The Chan opened it again. That's beautiful. I'm going to take one sip.
I'm so jealous right now.
Fantastic beer. Second Self Brewery. You guys check it out. Fantastic little spot. Kind of over on the west side of town. And this is a very tasty beer. The Triforce. I believe it's actually like a Zelda tribute there. But I don't know if anyone's ever played the Zelda Triforce game back in the day. Joe, what's going on with Atlanta United?
Well, first off, just for taunting me about that beer that I can't drink, I'm going to have to give you a yellow card.
Oh.
That's your first caution. First caution.
Sir. All right, I've been cautioned.
But anyways, going on with Atlanta United, man, this past week, we had open training session, and the kit reveal came out during that. It was so awesome. I know you got tickets early. You were able to go.
I thought you got tickets too.
I didn't go get tickets, and then all of a sudden, the day of the event. I was checking Reddit, ATLiens United, Atlanta United thread, and I got a little throw out. We had ATL y'all threw up a post saying I've got extra tickets, and anyone want to go, and I commented on it. And then another guy, ATL Urbanite, also commented, so I replied to him, and both of them replied back to me offering me the ticket. I got the ticket from ATL Urbanite because he was the first to respond, but much props. The guy ATL y'all threw me a little message, said you can have my ticket, and he said, hey, tell Blake happy birthday, because it was your birthday during open training session.
It was my birthday. It was a fantastic birthday, but I hear it's also your birthday.
It's my birthday. Wow, so close together.
That's crazy. It's like we're almost faking that we have the same birthday. For people listening out there, it's birthdays every week,
Yeah, it's true.
Let's talk a little bit about open training, Joe. You and I were both there. We had a very energetic MC that greeted us. We had a DJ that was playing all the hits, all the top 40 hits as we walked in. There were some food trucks scattered throughout. Got to see a little live 92.9 The Game interview when I walked in with Julian Gressel. I gave Gressel a little pat on the back, like, hey Julian, what's up? But he was in the zone. What did you think of open training? Did you have a good time? Pretty cool experience for the fans.
Yeah, I also want to throw out, you mentioned 92.9 The Game was out there. Mad props to them for being a radio station to truly take over for Atlanta and actually give us live coverage of the Atlanta United games. They really are embracing it, just like the rest of the city has and should and will embrace Atlanta United. So mad props to them. I really enjoy that. And they were there when it first started. I walked I drove the bus up. You had to park at Six Flags, Whitewater. And thank you very much, Blake, for telling me that, or else I would have drove right up there and been late to the event.
But to our listeners, Joe would have been turned away at the gate because he called me. He's like, my GPS is for the training ground. I'm like, no. Anyone else listening that went to the event knows you had to park at Six Flags, get on a school bus, and it was quite a fun experience. They actually had the thing really well organized. I had a blast at open training, and I missed Joe. He came in a tiny bit later than me, but Joe, I mean, any other observations from the training ground? I know you kind of checked the place out.
I got a good amount here. One thing I really loved was Uncle Arthur coming out. The fans giving their Uncle Arthur cheer, and he came out, gave a great speech. He
Uncle
mentioned a couple
Arthur.
Uncle Arthur. Yeah, he gave out one thing that he mentioned in his speech that I thought was really funny, and a big cue that I might want to hit on to all of Atlanta fans. He mentioned about the All-Star game coming to Atlanta, and he gave a little knock to injuries at the All-Star game. Because remember, Greg Garza last year got injured in the first half of the All-Star game. We missed him for a couple games. So I know we kill it in the voting for fan votes, and we'll get a bunch of players in, but it might not be the best decision to add a ton of players to the All-Star game. And look at Uncle Arthur being keen on and adding that little tidbit in there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he came out and he was like, thank you guys. You guys are fantastic. Obviously, you guys are the best fans in MLS, but please don't vote our guys in the All-Star game. I think we've talked about this before. It's like, it's just another game to get hurt in that means nothing. Please don't vote our guys in the All-Star game.
Let's vote our ATLUTD2. Let's vote Atlanta 2 players in the game.
Vote all the bench players in. Let's get
Gosselin. Let's get Gosselin into the All-Star game. Atlanta United, that's a challenge this year. Let's get Gosselin into the All-Star game.
Get Carlton.
And Carlton.
In there.
That's good experience.
All the backups. Look at all the backups in there. But yeah, I love seeing Arthur Blank out there. Such a hands-on owner. Really fantastic ambassador for the team. I couldn't ask for a better owner, honestly. Coming out in his red, what was that? Like a red blazer, looking fly as always. But just the touch to come out there, greet the few thousand people that showed up, and I just really get a sense that he takes a lot of personal pride in the direction of the club and how successful it's been early on. You could see it when he introduced Bocanegra. He kind of introduced Carlos Bocanegra to the rest of the the fans. And
what'd you say? Did you say Bocanegra?
I said Bocanegra, because let's just get this straight. There was an MC there. Joe, I think you grabbed his name. He was an enthusiastic guy.
I heard Kevin Egan call him Renell.
Really enthusiastic guy. Just came in and he mispronounced Carlos Bocanegra, and it was funny. I mean,
everyone in the stands noticed it, and everyone, if they had one at the time, it would have been a straight red card.
It's a red card. It's a red card for the MC, but not for Kevin Egan, because Kevin Egan kind of came in and he's going to be taking over play-by-play on TV. He was also kind of the co-MC of the event. I really am excited about Egan being back. He if you guys remember him, he was on a few games early on, Joe. He had that famous call where he called one of Miguel Almiron's goals another peach, and the peach theme kind of continues through
Yeah.
the rest of the club now. Also, what we'll talk about later on with the kids. But yeah, the only thing I was upset about with open training is that there was no beer. Honestly.
No, yeah, that was kind of sad. I was hoping that maybe there would have been a beer truck there. But you mentioned Kevin Egan, and man, I'm also very excited that he's part of the crew and he's full time. But it comes at a costly expense. It looks like, and she made the announcement a couple of weeks ago on Twitter. It didn't really announce that she was gone, but she alluded to it. And Brittany Arnold doesn't appear to like she's going to be with us anymore. And she was a very great sideline reporter. She was very in depth into the team. Everybody loved her. That's going to be a sad one to see let go. So I'd like to say goodbye to Brittany Arnold. But welcome Kevin Egan full time because he's also going to take over and be great.
Yeah, no, I think Kevin's going to bring a lot of stuff to our broadcast experience. I think Brittany brought tons of great content to the broadcast experience. Hopefully she's moving on to something bigger and better. But no, I really enjoyed listening to them both last year. I'm super excited to hear Kevin kind of full time this year. So, bright things for the TV broadcast kind of crew, and hopefully we won't have to watch too many games on TV. We're going to try to be as many as we can, catching them live. But sometimes you got those road games on the West Coast we can't quite make it to, and we got to listen to the TV commentators. So I'm excited about Kevin Egan coming in this year.
That's great. And then another thing that happened during the training session was 2 Chainz came out onto the TV, and I was so excited because I was like, "Oh my God, they're going to announce 2 Chainz as part of our team!" Like, I really thought he was going to be that center defensive midfield that I guaranteed was going to be announced, and he hasn't been announced. So, and then he came on and he revealed the new jersey, and I'm going to take another sad goodbye to my concrete and strawberry jersey. This is my retirement party for it, and I'll have to go out and get a King Peach. And that's kind of alluding to, I think the next jersey we're going to get out is going to be like the squashed grape, and it'll be purple. Because they're going on the fruit flavor. You got concrete and strawberry, and then you got King Peach. Next will be squash grape, then there'll be the purple plum. Then we'll have to go to the terrible kiwi.
Okay, I'm going to back you up just a little bit while we continue on the fruit train. I think the King Peach was originally inspired by a really awesome tifo we had for the New York City game. I don't even know if you remember it. It was basically a giant peach, with a mathematical greater than symbol with an apple. It was a dig on NYC. It was an awesome tifo, awesome concept.
Was that Resurgence that put that together?
I believe it was a Resurgence crew that put it together. But I think what we're seeing with these jerseys, in my opinion, great tifo jerseys. I'm up and down on. I don't really know. I'm somewhere on the fence, man. I'm not going to come out and criticize our club, but I'm just going to be honest and say that I was gonna purchase one. I retracted that statement.
Oh yeah.
I don't want it. Yeah.
Okay. So I saw the jerseys. Exactly. So I saw the jerseys at the reveal at the training session. I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, that looks like we're like trying to be the Tennessee Volunteers. It clearly looked like Volunteers, and the whole stands were making Volunteer jokes the entire time.
Rocky
and I wasn't too happy of it. You made a comment during the kit reveal, and you didn't want to see a bunch of orange going with the red, and because a lot of people wore their away jerseys at the game last year at home games, and the orange clashing with the red's going to kind of look weird. My initial reaction was, I don't like this. I'm definitely not a Volunteer fan. But then over the weekend, I saw them play against Columbus Crew, and it really looked good going up against the Columbus Crew. We're not going to talk right yet about how that game went, but I thought the clash of their Columbus's yellow versus our white and peach, I thought it looked really good in that game particularly. So the jury's still out on my decision if I like it or not. I'll let you know as the season goes on.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
We'll see how we play in it. You know, if we win every game in the peach kit, then it's my favorite color and it's the best kit I've ever seen. You know, if we lose one or two games and our first game's in the peach kit, then I'll continue down my train of, man, terrible, terrible, terrible kit. But, you know, enough about the kit. It's about the players on the field. You know, we had some goals in this Columbus game. Unfortunately, one of my favorite players to feature got himself a goal, but it was on the wrong end of the field.
Oh, Joseph. I know. You know, he's still going to try to get that 1 goal per game stat, and he wasn't making it happen down on one end, so he had to put it in onto our own net. It was
yeah. Well, he's got to get his goal no matter what. You know, that's why.
Yeah, that's a Michael Parkhurst trait. That's not a Joseph Martinez trait.
Yeah. Well, we're still going to feature him this week because it's time for the Joseph Martinez
Hair Watch.
It's time for the hair watch.
Hair watch. Oh, man.
Joseph did not really mess too much with his blonde flat top. It's coming into more of a mohawk recently. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Well, one thing I was thinking when I saw the game and towards the end of the game, and it was just kind of, again, it flopped down. How long into the season until you think he starts using the same gel that Tito Villalba uses? Because, Tito, his hair stays up pretty well. Joseph is probably going to have to start borrowing some of that gel.
I was going to point that out. I mean, this guy makes a lot of money to play professional soccer and to keep his hair, in tip-top shape. And where is he getting his gel from? Is it even called gel anymore? When I was in middle school, we called it gel. Is there
people call it pomade? I use a little pomade in my hair sometimes.
Yeah, a little pomade. Keep the texture, I don't know, man. Wax. Maybe he needs to go more of a wax base, but it's been sagging.
He needs that super extra stronghold.
Yeah. Well, and so Joseph's own goal, probably the low light of the game. Going back to training, though, we caught another guy, and I thought his name was Joseph at first, but turns out his name is Yosef Samuel.
Joseph.
You point him out to me. Dude's got fantastic hair. So just because he's close enough to Joseph, we're going to feature him this week. Yosef Samuel of ATL United 2. He has an awesome fro. He was playing, I think, a 9 during the game. He probably was the closest to scoring in the little scrimmage game they played in the open training. Keep an eye out for the Yosef Samuel hair watch moving on this year. Just to our listeners, it's gonna be one we're monitoring. I'm not saying it's gonna be featured every week, but we're gonna be monitoring it.
You say we got on Atlanta United, Joseph Martinez. Joseph for Atlanta United, and for Atlanta United 2, we got Yosef. Joseph on 1, Yosef on 2.
Some would say the J silent. They could both be pronounced Joseph. Or you could just combine the two, kind of like Joseph.
Joseph.
Yeah,
well,
man.
I want to give a shout out to Joseph Martinez, who I did see he had some fly hair, and you said he was almost the closest to scoring.
Did you say Martinez? You said Martinez.
I said, Joseph.
You've already combined them. They become one.
All right, let's count how many times I make that mistake during this podcast and throughout the season. But
I'm gonna go ahead and give you. Wait for it. You just got a yellow card, Joe.
Are you kidding me?
All right, guys, welcome back. We kind of got something wrong last week. We called the Carolina Challenge Cup the Charleston Challenge Cup because it was played in Charleston. That
was my fault.
Yeah, we're sorry. Shout out to someone who called us out on it. We really appreciate it. I believe it was a Reddit user. You, the Swixter. Thank you for letting us know. We're gonna get it right from here on out. And first game of the Carolina Challenge Cup was not one that went well for us, Joe. Any takeaways right off the bat other than, Man, it was ugly.
Oh, so yeah, it wasn't fun to watch. It's never fun to watch us lose. That broke our undefeated preseason record, but good thing it's preseason, so we don't count those games.
Right.
Brad Guzan, we call him big, we call him tall, we call him a wall. Well, he was obviously a wall with an open door in it this time around.
Yeah, it was rough for Brad. He got chipped on one of the better goals I've seen this preseason. It was a fantastic strike right over his head. It was just a rough game for our guys. Clearly still gaining fitness. I watched this whole game. There was a few players that impressed me. As crazy as it sounds, LGP, Gonzalez Perez, played a really good game, even though we gave up 3 goals. Almiron got himself a goal. Obviously, Joseph got himself a goal on the wrong end of the field. I thought he had a very subpar game. Very subpar game. Barco seems like he's still kind of, I don't know, getting into form, getting into fitness. He's getting a little better with his passing, but he just seems hesitant, like he doesn't quite know his teammates yet. So I think we'll see more and more of that as we go on. The bad. Let's talk about the bad. What I'm seeing from our team right now is we got a few new pieces, and we're trying to really adapt to how are we going to play without that anchor in the midfield. I just don't think we were really ready to release Carmona. I'll keep going back to it. And it's like that destroyer in the midfield, that central defensive player. We started Larry at center back again, and then we tried this midfield trio of McCann, Nagby was in there, Almiron. It's just like, I don't know if McCann's really thrived in our midfield at all. The only time we really saw him play last year was at left back. Just like, I really feel like we're missing a link there, and I miss Carlos.
I miss him too,
and I know you miss him, Joe.
You made a good point there, and ATL. Please bring on 2 chains to replace him, because he could be a solid defensive midfield. McCann needs to go to the bench and be a backup left back. And I want to see Larry get a shot. I don't think he had a good game this week, but I want to see him have a shot in that center defensive mid as a holdover. And then maybe even give Gosselin more of a shot. Those are our options on the team right now. And since they haven't signed anybody, that's what we're looking at. So we got to find somebody in that holding midfield role to do better, give us possession. And you made a really good point briefly. You said it was fitness, and Tata mentioned he wants to take a couple of the preseason games as strictly fitness, and he's going to push them. They pressed high, hard all game, and they were running hard and pressing high, but it also made them very susceptible. But I think Tata was pushing them to really press up the field, and it left them very vulnerable in the back, and we didn't have someone. McCann wasn't fast enough to cover a quick, fast break, and Columbus, they were very deadly at a countering style last year, and they continued to do that, even though I thought they were going to be a little worse, losing Justin Miram and Ola Kamara. They were getting rid of really good players, but they still played very high quality counter-attacking, high pressing themselves. So, the next couple preseason games, maybe we'll see more of a tactical switch and trying to play more like he wants to play game 1 of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, Columbus played fantastic. I think Christian Martinez was the goal that chipped Brad. You need to go back and watch it if you haven't. Fantastic goal. It really was the goal of the preseason so far. Other takeaways I took is that, Barco and Gressel having kind of a hard time linking up, it seemed. Those guys aren't on the same page. I think that'll come with time. With Barco and all his teammates, it seems like he's really, just getting to know the guys, especially, the non-Spanish speaking players. I think that's going to take a little bit of time. I don't know how German and Spanish go. I think that it would be challenging.
Not well.
Communication. Yeah. And I think, that, as much trouble as I'm having communicating with you in Houston, I can't imagine the language barrier that's going on right there.
Boo.
So, I hope that Barco connects for the rest of preseason with his teammates more than I hope he performs. You know, I want to see him perform Houston week 1. I don't want to see Barco really clicking into high gear until he's got that chemistry with his teammates. Hopefully we see that in the coming weeks. I'm really excited to see him connect and really mesh with how we play. Second half, we came out a little bit better. We came out with a little bit of like, okay, let's go get this. But we threw away a lot of passes, and LGP, I know I kind of highlighted him. He had some questionable tackles, Carlton came in, and I thought Carlton played really well in his short time.
He's one of our own.
Carlton, man, guy I'm excited about. I know we're both excited about Carlton and Gosselin getting some time this year.
He's one of our own.
Overall takeaways from the Columbus game, not a lot of takeaways. We got some fitness in there. Miggy got a goal late, assisted by Joseph, so good to see they're still on the same page.
That was a beauty of a goal.
Yeah, and good to see they're still on the same page, but like I said, none of this really counts. We got to look towards Houston week 1. That has to be our primary focus. We got games coming up, rest of the Carolina Challenge Cup. We got Minnesota, we got Charleston, our XB team. But I just think, Joe, we need to focus on week 1. Are we ready for week 1? Are we healthy for week 1? Are we ready to come to Houston and conquer? And I'm excited. I'm really excited. I know I'm going, so I'm a little bit more excited, but man, I'm super pumped for Houston.
You need to get excited. I can't wait for 2 weeks away, home game coming. We got two more preseason games back in Carolina, and we're playing Minnesota next. Last time we played Minnesota United, we lost to them too, and that was one of the games I think that lowered our seed in the playoffs. If we had beat them in the season last year, it was during the 7-game stretch at home, in short period, and we had a bunch of people out for international break, and so they played our B team, and then they got to keep Kevin Molino, and they were able to, in a crazy wild game, they were able to beat us, and now we get to play them again. So another clash of the Uniteds. We need to show them that we're superior again. It's a preseason game, so really they don't count. But I'm excited. I told everyone on it last week I was going to the Terminus Legion watch party. Sorry, and by the time you see this, it'll have already played. And I'm not going to be there because somehow I got stuck here in Houston.
We still don't know how. We have no idea how you ended up down there. It's
airplanes. All right, but so we'll have to see what's going on with that United game, and then we'll also recap next week both the preseason games and how it ended, and then we can really preview week 1. Then I'm excited because we end against Charleston, which will be another good one to watch, and still keep an eye out as they're all on BN Sports, and keep an eye out. Go to your local bars that play the games. So we'll throw out some threads of where we're going to watch the game, especially the Sunday one. Is it Sunday or Saturday?
I think it's on Saturday, but I'll have to double check that. It's over the weekend with Charleston. But Joe, what I'm looking to see out of these last couple games, man, is just let's build up fitness. Let's stay healthy, and let's make sure that no one gets hurt. And tackle week 1 ready to go. I'll take 2 more losses if it means we go in with chemistry and with fitness to week 1, because we got to realize that this is the preseason. This isn't the end of the road. This is games that don't go on our record. We just need to get fit and get ready.
Like, can we call the refs there and tell them to pick up some Atlanta Sport and Social Club rec rules and say no slide tackling?
No slides. I'd be fine with no slide tackling the next game.
Yeah. If they slide tackle, instant yellow card. And if you see it again, we're going to have to throw out another yellow and give you a red.
Not the red card. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Let's stay injury free. Let's get through these next couple games, and let's get ready for Houston because we are coming, and we're going to bring the heat to Houston. So super excited about week 1. Joe, I'm glad you're down there scouting for us. Any takeaways from the city? I mean, do they seem excited about the Dynamo season? Are you seeing a bunch of Dynamo jerseys around town? Should we be worried going into enemy territory?
Not at all. Don't be worried. I have made a couple of trips around town, and I'll be back in Atlanta as soon as I can find a way to get a plane to actually take me to the right place. I'll be back in Atlanta, and next week while I've been stuck here, I kind of have done a couple things. I'd like to bring up next week's show, so you guys definitely want to tune into next week's show. And I've got a couple of fun things that I've mustered up while I've had to spend some crappy time here in Houston when our soccer team's not here. And one thing I want to point out, though, you said no injuries. You said no slide tackling next week. We noticed that we had a couple of players return to training. They're all back, and they haven't played yet, but Tito Villalba, Escobar, Parkey, they're all back in training. Is that right, Blake?
I really didn't want to mention it because, I didn't want to jinx it. But yes, we are healthy. Honestly, I don't know who's on the injury report at this point. If all those guys are back in full training, those are the only injuries I knew of personally. Like I said, I didn't want to bring it up, knock on my wooden hammer, because, I don't want to see any injuries in this preseason. Let's get through it. Let's get healthy. We have solid depth. We don't have great depth. We really need all four of these guys. We need Tito. We need Garza.
We need Tito bad.
We haven't even talked about how bad Zizzo played because he's still the new kid at school, and we're not going to bring him up. So we're sorry to our listeners. We know Zizzo's bad. We're just still giving him a hall pass. And then Parkhurst, obviously, our captain. We need him.
Things to look out before the end of the preseason. You want to see if these guys that haven't played yet, Parkey, Escobar, and Villalba, they need to get their fitness levels up. Yes. So if they don't make a game in the preseason, it's likely they're not going to make the start of the season. And players usually need a couple games, and they'll come in as a sub 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the game to get up fitness levels before we start seeing them featured as a starter. So it's kind of concerning me that we haven't seen them yet. It's good to see them back, that they're practicing. So I hope to see them get a couple of minutes here in the last two preseason games before we do try to go to Houston and conquer.
Definitely. Playing time for those four guys is huge these next two games. Let's get fit. Let's get ready. Just wanted to give a shout out to everyone listening to this podcast. We really, really appreciate you guys. Joe coming in from Houston today, and it's been awesome to keep this podcast running. But just want to give a kind of a shout out to everyone that's taken place in producing this thing. Ben and Britt, our producers, do a fantastic job. Shout out to Phantom Maniacs, who's producing all kind of stuff. They're a really fantastic website. They're printing out a bunch of our gear. They may or may not have printed out a few things which we haven't showed you guys yet, but are coming in the coming weeks. But if you guys have stuff that you want printed, from comics to sports memorabilia type stuff, whatever it is, phantommaniacs.com, awesome place to go. Shout out to, Second Self Brewery for being our beer of the week, and to all our listeners, supporters groups, front office. We appreciate all you guys. Couldn't do it without this whole united front from Atlanta and from the city. Even if Joe's in Houston, Joe,
it's sad.
I miss you.
But I'm gonna find my way back. I will get back to Atlanta.
We'll get a flight tracker.
You've got my golden spike now, and I usually don't go anywhere without that. So I've got to come back and get that golden spike. So and thanks to all our listeners again. I can't wait for next week's episode. I think I got a couple special things in store for you guys.
Joe back in the studio. It's going to be exciting. Please subscribe, follow, let us know. Tell us what we screwed up on. Tell us how we can get better. ATLiensUnited.com, ATLiensUnited@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that media stuff. Guys, it's been fun. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for listening. And Joe,
thanks, guys.
Miss you. We really
I need to get back to the ATL.
Yeah. But, you look good from here for being in Houston. Have you gotten a tan?
Yeah. It's that Houston tan. It's that King Peach tan.